Recording and the recording's in progress. So here we go. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm John Howard. I'm a certified financial planner with SeaCure Advisors. Carolyn Howard, who is my mom and also the CEO, she is with us today and will be answering questions throughout the webinar. If you want to say hello, Carolyn. If you don't speak, your picture's not.
I know. I actually can talk.
All right, very good. Just wanted to start off today with a little bit of housekeeping. So after the webinar today, there will be an automatic link generated as soon as you leave the webinar, where you're going to be taken to a report card that will allow you to review the webinar and just let us know how we're doing. And we do take a look at those. We've had some pretty good feedback so far, but these report cards do give us an idea of who it is that is watching our webinars, for starters, and also gives you an opportunity to highlight the things that worked for you, that were helpful, and also highlight some things that could be improved, because we're always trying to make these better. We know we're not perfect. We only walk on water when it's frozen, as they say. So please do let us know when there's an area that could be improved, and we'll make it our do our very best to improve those areas. All right. So today we're going to be talking about Social Security planning for women. And before we get into this, I do want to share with you some content that we have on our website. So I'm just going to really quickly share my screen and take you to our website. So here is the SeaCure Advisors webpage. And if you navigate over here to resources, you will find some IRA, there's a few things, but as far as retirement planning and retirement income planning and Social Security concerns go, we have this retirement and IRA resources, and there's a whole bunch of great information on here: Secure Act rules, or retirement calendar, rollover chart. But there's also, I'd like to draw your attention down to these frequently asked questions. There are some very nice flow charts down here that we've generated to help people with things like Social Security benefit filing. So there's one here for will my Social Security benefits be reduced, for example, and you can download these. These are free to everyone who visits our website. So just want to draw your attention to those. And last thing before we get going, just want to make sure you have made an account on the Social Security website. So it's ssa.gov, and to make an account, regardless of whether or not you work with a planner on your Social Security strategies, I really do strongly encourage you to make an account here so you can view your work history, potentially spot mistakes, but more than anything, understand what your estimated benefit will be at your full retirement age. And there's some retirement calculators. This retirement estimator can be very helpful. Susie Orman's here to encourage you to make an account. There's all sorts of great stuff you can do here. And that is it. So with that, let us start the presentation. All right. So are you seeing this on your end, Carolyn?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So like I said, we are talking about Social Security planning for women today. This is part 3 of our 4-part Social Security education series. Our first 2 webinars covered basic concepts for boomers, for baby boomers, and just very general Social Security strategies for maximizing your lifetime benefits. That was part 1. Part 2 was specific to couples and got into some details there on Social Security planning for couples. And today we're highlighting women. Now, why are we highlighting women? Well, we're going to get into that after we take a look at our disclosures. So these are amazing, and we're moving on. So realities for women. This is why Social Security planning for women is so important. Because of the gender pay gap, and also because women are frequently caregivers for children, and they will leave careers to become stay-at-home moms for a number of years or work part-time. Also, frequently women are tasked with caring for aging parents. So all these reasons contribute to lower lifetime earnings. They also, because of their lower lifetime earnings, if they have jobs where pensions are available, those pension numbers will be lower, And compounding all of this is the fact that women on average live 4 to 5 years longer than men. So all of this creates sort of a perfect storm where retirement income planning is a real critical point for women in a way that it isn't for men. So before we get into the presentation and getting into Social Security definitions and some specific benefits that apply in many cases to women, I just want to highlight for a second the value of working longer. So our current ideas of retirement, where you work for a number of years, and then you reach a certain age and you just stop on a dime, and then you never work again for the rest of your life and collect things like pensions and Social Security benefits and so forth to replace your earned income from working. These ideas are increasingly antiquated. And the reason why is because we're just simply not seeing pensions as much. People have 401ks. And IRAs, but it can be complicated. And a lot of folks, especially if they aren't using an advisor or a planner, they're not going to know how to create a retirement income strategy. And all this has become a lot more complex relative to simply just turning on a pension. And so there are some serious benefits to actually keeping yourself employed, even if it's on a part-time basis. Especially with in regards to women, because as I mentioned, frequently women will leave careers, at least temporarily, for caregiving, and may have 0 years where they have not earned anything on their Social Security earnings record. And so these extra years of work may allow women to help pay down debt, add to their retirement savings, reduce the amount of time that you will be drawing down your invested assets like your IRAs and 401ks. And also then, because you're replacing 0 years with earned income years, having some years where you're working a little bit longer can help increase your Social Security benefit. Now, this is not a strategy that will apply to everybody, but just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here, the gender pay gap. And this is a real thing. Women earn a little bit more than 80 cents on the dollar for the same job as men. And hopefully that will change over time. I have daughters myself, and I would love to see that eliminated. But at the moment, it's a reality that we're dealing with. And what this means is that a woman over her working life will earn $406,000 less than her male counterpart if both the man and the woman in this situation are working for 40 years. So that was a study done by the National Women's Law Center. So please do fact check me on that. Another way to look at this is that it will take a woman 50 years to earn the same amount of money that would be earned by a man working 40 years. So by adding a couple extra years to your earnings record, there are a number of issues that can be, if not completely resolved, certainly helped. And that's not going to be a strategy that will be available to everybody, but just I do want to plant that seed and maybe get you thinking about that if this is an issue that you're considering. So also, before we move along, just want to highlight this meeting link down in the left-hand corner of this slide. For folks who have not met with us before, who are on this webinar, and there are a couple clients that we're actively working with who are on the webinar who just want to get this information, which is fantastic. But if you haven't worked with us before, this link at the bottom left corner will take you to our website where you can schedule a meeting with us. You will be able to access our calendar and see our available meeting times for a quick 20-minute phone call where we can get to know each other. And if necessary, schedule a longer complimentary meeting. And during that meeting, you will get a Social Security report. So we can generate a number of reports. I have one here for spousal planning, and here's one for a simple break-even analysis. So we have a number of different calculators that we can use. We're always trying to improve the technology that we use that we can add value to a client situation. So all that aside, we're moving along. So let's talk about the value of Social Security. Now, this is going to be, if you're joining us, I know there's a couple folks on here who've been on our previous webinars. So this is going to be rehashing some things we've already talked about. Social Security offers income you cannot outlive. You can think of it as like a government pension. So if your monthly benefit is $2,000 today, and you live 10 more years from the time that you claim your first Social Security check, you'll receive a total of $276,032 in benefits. And that's assuming a 2% annual cost of living adjustment. I've mentioned it in our previous webinars. We like to actually shade that cost of living adjustment down a bit. It stresses out our retirement plans a bit, but it also ensures that those plans might withstand regulatory changes to Social Security to keep it solvent. And one of the things that they're talking about in that regard is reducing those cost of living adjustments. The Social Security Administration by default tells you to use a 2% cost of living adjustment, but it does vary from year to year. And this year, I believe it was 1.3%. But if you live 30 more years, you will receive a total of over $1 million in lifetime benefits from that $2,000 a month check plus the 2% annual cost of living adjustment. And putting this another way, in 10 years, that $2,000 benefit will be $2,438 a month. And in 30 years, it's $3,623 a month. And what's not mentioned in this slide is that your Social Security benefit is not 100% taxable. If I have a paycheck from work, from my job here at SeaCure Advisors, that is going to be 100% taxable income. Social Security, even if you're pulling resources in from your retirement accounts like an IRA, maybe a lot of folks that we work with, they're pulling tens of thousands of dollars from investment accounts, from retirement accounts, and they're being taxed on this. Well, all those withdrawals are 100% taxable. An investment account, a brokerage account, that's going to be realizing capital gains. Those are going to be 100% taxable at the capital gains rates. Withdrawals from annuity income, from IRAs, from 401ks, these are 100% taxable as ordinary income. So Social Security is actually only 85% taxable for most people. Some people, it might even be 0% taxable, but those are going to be folks at the very bottom end of the income spectrum. So even if you're earning a good deal of money and you're pulling a good deal of assets from retirement, only 85% of your Social Security check is exposed to taxation. So these benefits are very, very, very helpful in retirement income planning and helping to secure what we call an income floor. So let's take a look at some definitions. One of the most important ones here is full retirement age, the age at which you can start receiving full unreduced benefits. If you claim earlier than full retirement age, and it is assessed on a monthly basis, your retirement benefit will be reduced. So this full retirement age is the age at which you will receive your full retirement benefit without any reduction at all. So if you're born between 1943 and 1954, that full retirement age will be 66. 2 months gets added to this every single year until we get to 1960, at which point the full retirement age is 67. So that's what it is for me. You can delay claiming Social Security past your full retirement age and earn something called delayed credits. And that those credits are 8% per year. So if your full retirement age is 66, that means you can earn a total of a 32% increase on top of your full retirement age benefit. For me and people born 1960 or later, that maximum benefit is 24% greater than your full retirement age benefit. So this is actually something that increased. The full retirement age used to be age 65, but there was a Social Security solvency crisis back in the 80s. It was in 1983. And one of the solutions to that crisis at that time was simply pushing the retirement age down to age 67 from age 65. So we've been at this crossroads before. In fact, the woman who trained us on our Social Security knowledge recently through a continuing education workshop, she was a planner 30 plus years ago and was told back then to assume that Social Security will not exist for you by the time you're old enough to claim it. Well, here we are. She's claiming Social Security now herself. She's in her 70s. And I'm actually fairly bullish on Social Security, even for people in my age group and younger. There's legislation on the table now that is being floated by both sides of the aisle. It's been reviewed by CPAs and economists. It's all very reasonable stuff. And in 15 years or so, which is when benefits may be reduced according to my Social Security statement, I imagine in that 15-year period, I'm optimistic that there will be a solution presented that preserves benefits because they are such a huge huge deal for the majority of Americans. The actual statistics is that it's over 64% of people depend on Social Security for more than 40% of their retirement income. So other definitions that are very important to know. Primary insurance amount. This is the full benefit that you receive at your full retirement age. It is stated right on the front page of your statement, right here in the top right corner of your statement. It's right there. And that is the baseline. If you claim earlier than your full retirement age, it will be reduced from that full retirement benefit. If you claim later, it will be increased using those delayed credits. It is calculated based on 35 years of earnings. So it's going to look at your 35 highest earning years, average those out, indexing the oldest years for inflation, and you're going to get a number called the AIME, AIME. That's average indexed monthly earnings, excuse me. And that will be a number that is taking all those indexed earnings, adding them together, dividing them by 35, and then they're going to apply something called bend points, which will basically mean that your the lower end of the lower strata of your AIME will count more towards your PIA. And what this means is that it's just basically trying to ensure that Social Security has the most benefit to people at the lower end of the income spectrum. So questions to ask: do you qualify for benefits on your own work record? So you qualify for benefits if you've worked for at least 10 years. You earn a Social Security credit by earning a little over $1,000 over one quarter, over a 3-month period. And you can earn up to 4 credits in 1 year, and it takes 40 credits or 10 working years. They do not have to be in order to qualify for Social Security benefits. Are you currently married? Because if you are, you may qualify for spousal benefits. Has your spouse started receiving his or her Social Security benefit? The reason why this is important is that if you do qualify for Social Security benefits on your spouse's work record, that spouse has to have filed for his or her own benefit before you can take your spousal benefit. And have there been any prior marriages? Because there are also divorce spouse benefits, and we're going to be covering those today. So depending on the answers to those questions, you may be entitled to one or more of the following benefits: retirement benefits, spousal benefits, divorce spouse benefits, and survivor benefits. And we're going to be taking a look at each of these in some detail. And how you coordinate these benefits is going to be crucial to determining your overall Social Security income, which we've seen can be extremely substantial, over $1 million potentially, depending on your situation, over your lifetime. So first step, we're going to take a look at retirement benefits. We just took a look at the Social Security website. If you haven't done so, I highly recommend you go online and you make your own account there. And that will allow you to view your primary insurance amount and also look at your work history and make sure that that is accurate. So you can go to ssa.gov and make your own account and also estimate your own retirement benefits using that retirement estimator. And you can also use one of the calculators they have on that website to see what your retirement benefit would be at certain claiming ages. And that is pretty much the limit of what you will get out of the Social Security Administration, either their website or their office. They will not do planning for you. They will not compare different claiming strategies. They will not coordinate with your other sources of retirement income. They will not make recommendations based on particular expenses that you might have or life expectancy projections. We have calculators that can do this. Other CFPs out there do a fantastic job of building a technology bundle that will include Social Security calculators, very powerful ones that will enable this more sophisticated level of analysis. But that's not to say that the website is useless or that the Social Security office can't help you. They can, they just can't do planning. Just want to be very specific about that. So when you apply for Social Security, there's key points to remember. If you apply early, your benefit starts lower and stays lower for life, and that will be magnified by those cost of living adjustments. Because let's say it's a 2% adjustment, that will be multiplied against a much lower benefit. In fact, it can be an up to 30% reduction by claim. If your full retirement age is 67 and you claim all the way at 62, which a lot of people do, it's very surprising to me, your benefit will be reduced by 30%. And that will persist for the rest of your life, and those cost of living adjustments will apply to a smaller number. If you delay, that decision will be magnified because those cost of living adjustments will be compounding against a larger number for a longer period of time. And your decision impacts your survivor benefits as well. So if you have a higher earning spouse who predeceases the lower earning spouse, that lower earning spouse will inherit that higher earning spouse's benefit. So this again magnifies that increase, that decision to claim early or later. And we're going to take a very close look at that in a minute here. So that covers retirement benefits. Now we're going to talk about spousal benefits. Your spousal benefit equals 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount if you apply at your full retirement age. Your spouse must have filed for his or her benefit first in order for you to claim your spousal benefit. Now, I do want to be clear that there is no benefit to the lower earning spouse who's claiming that 50% PIA. If they choose to delay claiming their spousal benefit past their full retirement age, they're simply losing money. So hypothetically, let's say let's take a look at an example right here. Jack and Jill are married. Jack's PIA is $2,400. Jack files for his benefit. So he filed at full retirement age 67, let's say. Then Jill's spousal benefit will be $1,200 if she applies for it at her full retirement age. That can be reduced. If Jill is younger than Jack, and let's say she applies at 62, her spousal benefit will actually be reduced. However, if she chooses to wait past her full retirement age to claim that spousal benefit, it will not receive delay credits. There are no delay credits for the spousal benefit. Very important to understand. Now we're going to be taking a look at divorced spouse benefits. So the divorced spouse benefit is the same as the spousal benefit. So 50% of the full retirement age benefit if the marriage lasted for at least 10 years, if the person in question is currently unmarried, and if the ex-husband is at least age 62, 62 being the age at which the husband would be able to file for his own benefits. And if the divorce occurred more than 2 years ago, he does not need to have filed for his own benefit. And this is very important to understand this point coming up, because I get this question quite a bit. There is no impact to the husband or the ex-spouse's own benefit by the divorced spouse claiming a divorced spouse benefit off of that other spouse's working record. You know, it can all happen without the divorced spouses having any idea what the other is doing with Social Security. The important thing to understand is that there is a divorced spouse benefit, and these are basically the constraints around that. Going to get into the weeds a little bit now, getting into survivor benefits. So survivor benefits can be claimed. And this is something that a lot of folks don't know about. I have a client, for example, whose spouse was not aware of the fact that her deceased husband had an earnings record higher, which produced a Social Security benefit higher than her own. And even though she was remarried, the fact that she got remarried after the age of 60 actually entitled her to that survivor benefit. And there's some very interesting things you can do in terms of coordinating planning around that, but just some broad strokes here. You can start your survivor benefit at age 60, and that will give you a reduced benefit. And you can actually claim that as early as 50 if you're disabled. And that's the Social Security disability definition of disabled, which is very, very strict. That's a conversation for another time. And obviously this all assumes that your husband has passed away prior to these listed ages here. If your husband dies after you turn 60, the survivor benefit can be claimed immediately, but it will be reduced if you're under full retirement age. And you must have been married for 9 months, except in the case of an accident. So you're entitled to a survivor benefit if you're married for 9 months, unless, for example, there was a car accident, but a heart attack, stroke, that sort of death by natural causes, you have to have been married for at least 9 months to claim a survivor benefit. Now, something that's worth mentioning here. Well, actually, I'm going to hold off on this. I'm going to proceed to the next slide and mention it a little bit later. Divorce spouse survivor benefits are the same as survivor benefits. So divorced spouses are eligible for survivor benefits that are identical to regular survivor benefits if the marriage lasted at least 10 years, if you're currently unmarried, or the remarriage took place after age 60. And so an example of this is that Sam and Sue were married from 1970 to 1985. Sam died in 1995. Sue has not remarried, and as soon as she turns 60, Sue will become eligible for a reduced divorce spouse survivor benefit. Now, this reduction issue is something that I want to tunnel into for a second here. Very important to understand that if your spouse delays claiming until age 70 and gets those delayed credits, the surviving spouse will be eligible for that full benefit, including those delayed credits, if they hold off on claiming the survivor benefit until their full retirement age. So they get the full benefit of those delayed credits at their own full retirement age. But there is, similar to filing for a spousal benefit, there's no actual benefit in terms of their survivor's benefit by delaying the claiming beyond the full retirement age. So again, this highlights the importance of the higher earning spouse to delay claiming until age 70 because of the benefit that it can give to the lower earning spouse. So if you think you might outlive your spouse or ex-spouse, we do encourage that your spouse delay the start of the retirement benefit until age 70. And we have, again, our calculators can show the benefit and show real numbers that can help sort of wrap your head around this issue. But if, for example, even if your higher earning spouse dies before filing at age 70, the survivor benefit will still include the delayed credits earned up until the date of death. So if, for example, the higher earning spouse dies at age 69 and his or her full retirement age was 67, there will still be a 16% increase of that full retirement age benefit because they had waited until age 69. And then for the surviving spouse, think about claiming your survivor benefit at full retirement age or later, and then coordinate with your own retirement benefit. And this is where planning gets really, really interesting because you can actually do something called restricted filing. And for folks born before 1954, it can get really complex and interesting. But for everybody else born after 1954, you do have the option of either claiming your own benefit or your survivor's benefit separately. So you can claim your own and restrict it to just your own benefit while your survivor benefit is increasing, or vice versa. Just depends on which benefit is greater, and we can help illustrate those out for you. Social Security and remarriage. So remarriage does complicate things a little bit, but it's not the not that it cancels anything out here, but there are certain things to be aware of. Remarriage at any age will cancel out a divorced spouse benefit unless that marriage ends. So if you're divorced, and we talked about earlier how in order to claim a divorced spouse benefit, you have to be after age 60 to claim that divorced spouse benefit. That is going to be canceled if you remarry after age 60. So remarriage before age 60 cancels out survivor benefits and the divorced spouse survivor benefit. Remarriage after age 60 does not affect survivor benefits or divorced spouse survivor benefits. So that's a very key distinction. So you want to be sure to make this distinction between a divorce benefit and a divorce survivor benefit when you're talking about remarriage before or after age 60. And that is it. So again, it looks like we got this in a little bit under 30 minutes, which was our goal, trying to save people from Zoom fatigue where we can. But do want to emphasize, as we have in all of our previous webinars, that Social Security is too important for guesswork. And I know it's very, very difficult to just show slides and talk about this stuff in the absence of actually being able to look at real numbers that pertain to your specific situation. So we do want to give you the opportunity to meet with us. These meetings are complimentary, and you can receive one of our Social Security reports. Again, I'll hold them up. There are several that we can provide depending on the details of your situation. We want you to have a long and prosperous retirement that is not limited by money and to the greatest extent possible. So, please do meet with us if this is a concern of yours. And there's also, in addition to that meeting link, here's the information, our email addresses and phone numbers where you can get a hold of us directly. So with that, I'm going to stop my screen share.
Well, don't just yet. We have a couple of questions.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So this question is, if my spouse died in an accident, I know that if they didn't die in an accident, I would have to wait 9 months to collect benefits. What if they died in an accident? Does that happen pretty quickly after if I'm eligible and for Social Security?
So like if you get married and 1 month later there's a car accident and
Right.
you lose your spouse, yeah, so at that point you would be eligible for survivor benefits.
Okay.
But as far as when you claim those, you're not eligible to claim survivor benefits until you reach age 60. That would be something to consider.
So if I decided, this person said, if I decided to claim early, but keep working, but I'm claiming based upon my spouse's income, would my income be subject to the earnings test as well? Because I think there's some earnings tests that happen.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, Social Security, any benefit you receive will be reduced by an earnings test. Our calculators can help show that. And we're going to be talking more about special circumstances like this issue. If you are working and claiming Social Security benefits at the same time, your benefits will be reduced. However, that's not permanent. Once you reach full retirement age, those benefits are restored to the full amount, and the amount that has been withheld prior to full retirement age will go back into your retirement benefits. So you make that money back. It's not a permanent reduction. You do make that money back when you reach full retirement age. But yeah, benefits are reduced by claiming early while still working. And our calculators can help show like specific numbers to help illustrate that situation.
And those are all the questions.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I hope this has been helpful. Again, I apologize if there's anything that's been sort of confusing and overwhelming about the information that I presented here today. It is very difficult to talk about these things with all the jargon and numbers and just using slides. It's much more helpful to actually look at your own situation. And these reports that we have are pretty clear. Here's an example of one where you can clearly see what your benefits will be in this particular situation. So this is our break-even report. So you can, which is designed to show the point at which, the age at which you would break even by delaying your claiming of Social Security benefits relative to filing early or even filing at retirement age. And we can use different scenarios. And there's no one size fits all answer. Some people might need to claim early. Some people might need to claim while they're still working. And we can simply show what the financial realities of that will be and help use it in a larger income plan so that you understand how all these different pieces fit, so you can make sure that you're making the right decision for you. So that is that. I do encourage everyone to complete that report card that you'll be getting. And thank you so much for joining us. We love doing these and sharing some education with you. And we hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.